where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag and balance7.com. If you're into sports betting, BetOnline is where you should go to win money today. Whether it's live bets during games or futures for who you think will win the championship, BetOnline has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online betting needs. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So I don't know if you've heard, but apparently former NBA player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon. I was reading a press release about how he started taking a pH balancing alkaline supplement called Balance 7, and that's what has helped him bounce back from his hospitalization in 2015. He even said, "I have an enormous amount of energy, which is good for me. It's important when working out. I always need energy to level up." I couldn't agree more with Lamar, and after watching him fight Aaron Carter in July's celebrity boxing match, I think it's safe to say that Balance 7 is working for him. Cool thing is, we've got a promotion running with Balance 7 right now, where if you go to their website, balance7.com, and use the code BELIEVE, BLEAV, at checkout, you'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. That product retails at $13.99, so I'd say it's pretty worth it. Again, head to balance7.com and use the code BLEAV at checkout to get in on the promotion. I know I will. If it worked for him, I think it can work for you too. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns. I'm here with our hosts, Eric Warfield and Jason Dunn. Guys, how are you doing?
What up?
Good. What's happening?
Nothing much. Just looking at the every day as we get closer to the season. I did want to actually ask you guys a question as far as before we get into the questions tonight. But as you start to see the cuts happening around the league, what is the kind of the feeling in the locker room, not locker room, but in training camp when you start to see guys leave? I mean, is that kind of it's obviously the nature of the beast, but what is the kind of feeling in around the locker room and stuff?
I mean, we're human. We have feelings. We develop relationships with guys. So it does bother you a little when you see certain guys leave. Basically when you see any guy leave the team. Mm-hmm. But in the bigger, spectrum of things, it's your job. You've been through this year after year after year after year after year, so it's kind of expected. As long as your job is intact, as long as your checks are still coming, that's your main concern. But yeah, you do have ill feelings towards, I wouldn't say towards someone, but you still feel bad about certain guys leaving the team. Basically, all the guys leaving the team for whatever reasons. But when it comes down to it, your main concern is those guys that are going to be starting, playing, beside you, opposite of you. Well, not completely opposite of you, but the guys that are making that 53 roster. So the team that's built, that's going to go with you throughout the season. So that's your main concern. But yeah, you feel bad for the guys that aren't making the team.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, when you see guys, dreams kind of, dissipate. You see the disappointment on they faces. Like you definitely feel bad for them. And so like you were saying, man, you build up a rapport and relationship with these guys. And it's just always like one of those things like, dang, God, man, I thought you had a chance, man. You know what, man, good luck, man, keep trying. You're trying to be encouraging as much as possible. At that moment, something that just going to try to lift their spirits up. And it's a little tough, like you said, sometimes where a guy that might have been on a roster 1 or 2 years before, and then all of a sudden they'll make it. And so you're hoping that, well, maybe them being released now, they have a chance to get on another team somewhere down the road. But it's always tough. It's always tough. And I know some guys are sitting there thinking like, shoot, I'm glad it wasn't me. Seriously. I mean, that's just the reality of it in the NFL, man. Look, hey, playing in the NFL is hard. people understand. Look, man, there's only so many guys that have that opportunity to come and play and be a part of the NFL team, and there's a reason why. Okay,
yeah.
We're talking about like being the elite of the elite. That's how it comes down to. I mean, I see there's tons of talented guys. He knows there's tons of talented guys out there, man, that just don't make it, for one reason or another, man. So that's part of the evaluation. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want to talk about some other things too, like real quick. Okay. And then that around the league, this whole, like when Tebow got cut, you know what I mean? Like that was shocking to some, but for others, like, look, man, you know what? Hey, he did what he had to do. Didn't quite work out for him like he thought it was going to be. But also too, man, he playing a new position, coming in, that's tough. And it's things he's never done before. That's difficult. But it just also tells you the magnitude of how good you have to be, especially in the NFL. You know what I mean? It ain't like you just come and walk off the street and it don't happen. That's a rarity if it does happen, getting guys coming off the street. I mean, we have guys that like trying to come in each and every single year who's putting their time and effort all year round to get on the NFL roster, just have a chance to get a look. So, these things, man, it's tough, man. NFL is tough. They say not for long, it's not for long.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was, just obviously there was a guy who on the Chiefs who got cut this week, Antonio Callaway, who, I thought was going to be, you and I actually thought he was going to be like an asset for the team this year. So, he had a little injury. So, I was just curious what the feelings were in the locker room after once you start to see guys dissipate.
I told you, man. Hey, look, can't make the club in the tub. That's how they say, man. And that's probably like one of the worst things to do is get hurt when you're like one of those bubble guys, because it's like, oh man, like what am I going to do? Teams ain't gonna wait for you. They ain't got time to. So, they release guys. I thought, like you said, I thought he was gonna make it, man. But
yeah, you do have some of those that'll milk that injury, try to hang around for a while.
Right.
They can't cut you while you're hurt.
Right. You see it like walking out real slow. Like man, this dog was hurt. Like he needs a wheelchair or something.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I ain't mad at him though. Shoot, stay around as long as you can. Maybe make somebody smile and somebody thinks differently about it.
I agree. So another one, kind of before we jump into it, is the Jamal Adams contract. And I think from all the preseason write-ups that I've seen, they've listed Tyrann Mathieu as number one safety, and so that's going to play into his contract, is to see what he just got paid. And I know they posted an article yesterday on SportsCenter how Veach said that we don't have the money right now. He's got to be patient. When you see them big contracts go out like that, you know what you're worth. Yeah, you start knocking on that door and hitting that send button quite often to see what kind of deal you can get done. So I mean, I hope that doesn't affect him mentally going into the season. Just knowing that we haven't tied him into a contract, but right now I think he understands that we don't have the money's not available. I mean, it's been put out there publicly that we don't have it right now. But I just hope it doesn't play into his mentality going into the season.
But then, they did say something about him that I guess he liked a tweet or something about going to Baltimore. It's like, come to Baltimore. And he liked it. He was like, oh, he's like, cool, or he checked it or something like that, or he liked it. He did a like on it. Everybody was like, oh, shoot, what is that? Hey, when it boils down to it, it's a business, right? But like you said, if you treated the guy fairly and you do kind of know what it is, it's like it's the parameters we could deal with. Look, we want you here. We're telling you we are committed to you. We're trying to work some things around. What can we do to get to that point? But look, I promise you, we're gonna try to get this thing done. Yeah, shoot. Hey,
but the SportsCenter article, it said Veach made the comment that we don't have the money this year, and we may not have the money next year because of the contracts that we're tied into. So I hate to see him leave, especially for what he's done, what he's, continuing to do. But if we can find a way, we need to go digging right now, try to find a way to get that done.
I'm telling you, man, I told you, hey, we start moving money to get guys. Hey, I knew it was going to come. One of these days, man, it's just that the timing is it's bad timing in itself. But
yeah, I think the phrasing was money is tight, but what he said was that we want to strike a deal, and so does the Tyrann side. So it's they both want. At the end of the day, he wants to stay there, but if the money isn't there, you got to go. I mean, that's right.
And I do not think he's going to accept anything less than what Adams took.
Yeah. Isn't he? He's a year or two or a year or three older than Adams, I believe. There's a good amount of age difference there, I believe.
Man, you're still ranked number one at your position, so
you're still playing at a high level. Don't matter, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, don't even try to use it. Don't negotiate tactics on me. I'm older, a few months. Don't use that. Shoot, you know what I'm doing. My production on the field is. So, if you want me, you're gonna keep me. You're gonna find that money. So when it gets to that point, that's when it's like, look, I've been patient, but y'all need to start finding some things, start moving some things around, right? If you committed to me.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about in the show, as far as Frank Clark's future, we don't know what's going to happen with that. So Veach can't come out and say, Frank's, we're probably going to get rid of that contract by next year. And then there will be them freeing up some money in that case. So I believe after next year, we don't get penalized if we were to get rid of him after next year. So, I mean, he's going to have to play a game of, Twister with these contracts. But, all right. So we're going to get
me.
What's that?
That better him than me.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get to our first Chief Concern tonight. Is talking about our first preseason game from last week. Albeit it was a small sample size, but the Chiefs O-line looked pretty good. I saw some nice holes for CEH, and the defense, the pass rush was there. Our boy Chris Jones was getting after Trey Lance last week. But what were your takeaways from the first preseason game of the things that you saw?
My takeaway from it, it was good just to see the first team out there. Offensive line looked wonderful, like was expected. I think to me that was kind of the anticipation about how they was going to gel together, how everybody was going to move together, and they did a tremendous job. It looked good, like you said, a little sampling of it. Okay, looked great, but also too. You're thinking, well, do they have their top, guys? Everybody's not necessarily healthy on the defense, and so it's one of those things, but it still looked good, right, from what you're getting. And so, like Trey Smith, looked wonderful. Now he looked good. Like the whole offensive line looked like they were gelling pretty well. Defensively, now it was a little concerning giving up that big play, a touchdown. It was a bad angle. It was a bad angle. Kind of roll out, throwback play, but those things you got to be ready. You got to be ready for. And so the defense looked well. It was just that throw. You're like, oh my gosh, like how do you kind of miss on that? But younger guy in, first NFL experience that he's had, and shoot, you pay for it. But he's gonna get better. He's gonna get better from it. So that was my takeaway, man. I think, defense did a wonderful job. Certain plays just kind of looked like it was. Offense did well. I mean, Patrick still, looked good. So I think, overall, man, that's, you knew what you was kind of going to get anyway, right? But really, then I will say this, I'll end it on this, is it was encouraging to see the guys fight at the very end to pull the game off, right? And that's what I was actually evaluating, was how are these guys going to do it when you have to be like the no huddle, fast on the ball, come down and score points. And they got it done, man. They got it done. So that was really impressive. Now, maybe defensively, I didn't quite like what I seen from the defensive ends on like that third team, Ken Doe and those guys, not so much. So I think they were ways away, but with more time and experience, they'll get there.
Yeah, I didn't put too much into it. you get more in a practice than you'll get from that first preseason game. We can't give away certain schemes, give away certain positions. And I know we've already talked about moving Chris Jones from inside to outside. So we don't really want to show that look just yet, even though he did have a sack. And I guess the complaints was it wasn't against the number one off the O-line that he did get the sack. So, but we know what kind of animal that he is either way. So he doesn't have to go out there and do much to prove anything. The first preseason game is all about those young guys going out there to earn themselves a spot. And for the most part, as Jason said, it's up to them to go out there and pull the game off, get the victory. So whether win or loss, we don't look at those categories, although it somehow kind of plays into it. They claim that if you don't win a game in preseason, you're not likely going to have a great season. But getting the first victory under the belt was good. Tomorrow night, I think we played, tomorrow night. Mm-hmm. So the ones will get more reps. They'll be more intense. So we'll get to see more of what we're going to get from the season. You won't see any dynamic plays, no over the tops with Tyreek Hill. I don't think you'll get any dance moves or highlights from Kelsey, but you're going to get some big plays. So I didn't put too much into it or take much from the first game. It was good to have football back, good to watch the Chiefs again. So, that's kind of about how I looked at it.
Yeah. And also another thing, we talked about the O-line there, Jason. Creed Humphrey looked amazing. I mean, obviously it was small sample size, but I've seen some of the clips that people have kind of shown, like kind of zoomed in on his play throughout his few plays that he was in. He looked really good. And talking about, playing Twister with our contracts next year, if we keep hitting on these rookies, the second round to sixth round like we have with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey so far, we'll be able to save money that way by getting hit on these rookies. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Talking about the game on Saturday, and then going into following that game, we talked about how some of the younger guys are trying to earn the spot on the team. Well, this week we saw Jody Fortson go from the third team guy to, actually getting some playing time with the ones. So this week at practice, the Chiefs rolled out multiple 3 tight end packages with different combinations between Travis Kelce, Blake Bell, Noah Gray, and Jody Fortson. So 2 questions here. What are your thoughts on bringing back these 3 tight end sets that we haven't really seen in Kansas City since the days of Jason Dunn, Tony Gonzalez, and Chris Wilson? And then also, what are the chances that we go into the season having 4 tight ends on the roster?
Go ahead, E.
Well, I can't see us having 4 tight ends. Extremely excited to see what Noah Gray brings to the offense. With such an extreme talent as Kelce, but Kelce has spoken highly of him. He likes everything that he's done so far. He's excited to see what the kid brings, to the season and to his career. But so I think he's going to fit in well, and we probably won't lose much offensively if we have to rest Kelce. But just that big package, it shows more as to where we're trying to be more aggressive within the short yardage and hopefully the red zone area. If we can, get that bulk package, set to where we can get those short yardages. Do we have a fullback at the moment? I don't think we do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
He's going to get it. I'm not sure. I'd be more confident with putting Kelce and Noah in for the short yardage package than the fullback. Because we're basically, even with Sherman, we're not a fullback offense. We're spread you out. And I think right now, with the concerns of last year of not being able to capitalize on a lot of the red zone plays that we did have and some of the short yardage plays that we have, I think that ace package of 2 tight ends is going to be real crucial to the season.
Okay. All right. So I'm absolutely excited. I tell you what, man, it was so joyous to hear, okay, of having multiple tight end sets. And here's why: because it gives you multiple options of what to do. It is just, to me, it's a matchup nightmare for defenses, because now all of a sudden you got 3 big guys on the field at one time. And so I know how effective we were with having multiple tight ends on the field. And you start seeing a lot of teams emulate what we did in Kansas City because we had so much success. So we led the offense for like 3 years straight, right? And then you start seeing like New England started to get there, other teams started, the Rams, and everybody started to like, look, Kansas City having a great time with two or three tight end sets because you got guys now who could go downfield and actually, destroy a linebacker, a safety, and they match up well physically against a corner. So to me, it just makes sense. And I definitely see 4 tight ends out there on the roster. I do. And he made a great point. So I could think now, because I went through the numbers, all right? I made my own 53-man roster up, okay, of the guys I thought was going to be on the team. And so I was one guy too many is where I was at, all right, with mine. But I kept the 4 tight ends in. And so when I'm looking at Fortson, what he can do, man, look, the guy's playing phenomenal right now. I mean, he's gotten bigger. He's dedicated himself in the weight room, pushing off. He still runs good routes because he's a wide receiver. He just kind of reminds me of Rixey, Michael Ricks when he came here. He's long, lanky, got great hands, runs good routes, and he's hungry. And that's the thing about it. And so Noah Gray, didn't really have a good, preseason game, but he's just getting his feet wet. And this is where you see just his rookie year trying to get to what the speed of the game is. And he'll learn that over time. He's getting it in practice, but he'll learn it over time. I'm sure he probably had, a little bit of some butterflies, to win him too. Maybe some catches he probably should have made, which I thought he was going to be able to make, but he'll make those plays. And Bell. So I think Bell may be that guy that could replace like their fullback guy. Okay. You could have him being like the banger and, inline blocking more than anybody else. But I think Fortson and, Kelsey, all the guys can do it and just be more of an H-back kind of offense, if you will. But to me, man, it's a matchup nightmare on defenses because then all of a sudden you got the option to run and to pass out of it. What do you do? So you can't say, okay, you got 3 tight ends in, they're going to run the football. Well, no, we're not. We got guys right now who was a wide receiver who can match up against your guy and beat him. So best cover safety, got him. Destroy that. Oh, guess what? Oh, we're running out of this. So it creates a lot of availability, for our offense to do a lot more things, right? So that's why I look at it, man. I'm just so excited, man. Just being able to look at it as a tight end. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So giving guys opportunity.
It's just a little reminiscent of you back on the squad. That's all.
No, it's a little bit more than that, though. It really is. Yeah, look, and I'll say this: if the guys don't have the ability to do that, I'll say so. Right? Like it wouldn't make any sense to keep a guy on a roster who's not going to be able to do like special teams and all those things that's going to give that part of it. But you got guys that got the speed to run down, make tackles, play every special team that's out here. So you eliminate that question. Can they play special teams? Absolutely they can. Can they block? Absolutely they can. Can they run routes?
It works. It definitely works. I mean, for the teams that I do know of that have had it, have tried it,
yeah,
they've had successful offense. But I can't tell you that many teams. I know New England did it with Gronkowski and Hernandez.
Yeah,
I know we did it with you and Tony. Mm-hmm. So other than that, I couldn't tell you a team that had 2 good tight ends.
Sure,
not one.
Eagles was doing it. The Eagles with Ertz and Goddard they was doing it for a long time. That's why I thought Goddard was him going to Dallas now because Ertz was like the first tight end. I was just like, man, they're 2 good tight ends up there in Philly. They really were, and it was the same thing, a matchup nightmare. But I know the teams because they're playing tight ends. I'm gonna watch the tight ends when they're out there. And the same. Baltimore was good with it. Baltimore when they had Andrews, the guy that's down in Atlanta right now, and the other dude, Hurst. I like Hurst too, man. Another guy. So there's teams that had like multiple tight end sets out there that were successful, right?
The Colts did it with Pollard and Clark.
Colts, yeah. So there's guys that's there. And the thing is,
it's not a bunch of teams though. But I get what I get what you're saying though.
Yeah. So the thing is, it won't eliminate, having the multiple sets with the wide receivers. like I said, it just gives you more options now. And all of a sudden, so it's not like, man, not only do we have these guys, but we got this package right now. This package right now put together, it's going to kill you too. What do? You bring in another linebacker to try to cover these guys? You're going to get beat. So you're going to probably bring it, thinking it's a big package. Well, guess what? We're going over the top, so I love it, man. I love it because, these guys are athletic, man, and they deserve to play. They deserve to get out there on the field. So I think you carry 4 tight ends. If the guys weren't capable to do it, then I say, yeah, maybe not. But all 4 guys are capable of being out there on the field at one time. And if somebody does get hurt, you got another coming in. So you don't have to worry about too much, that aspect of it. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
And Jody Fortson is cool in itself. The guy transitioned from receiver to tight end, playing with the threes. Then all of a sudden he comes in the game Saturday. He's starting to rotate with the ones, after he showcased what he can do in a game on Saturday. And now he's rotating with the ones. From some of the stuff, I think Harold Kuntz was talking, one of the Chiefs not beat writers, but local reporters was saying that Coach Bieniemy was all over Fortson in a good way this week, just talking him up on the sidelines during practice and stuff. So, obviously the guy's, he's making a name for himself. And, if we can carry forward tight ends, he might have a big role this year as far as, his multiple tight end sets.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, look, he's been out there making plays, man. So they're going to expect a lot out of him. I know Bieniemy's like, look, man, your name's out there. So you can't, you can't slough off now, right? Right at this moment, you should look to just get better. Everything you do, just build on what you've done now, creating this buzz about you. Keep going with it. Keep going. And so, man, it's encouraging, man, just to see. But he's put the work and the effort in to become a better tight end, and it's worked for him. And that's why I keep going back to like the whole thing, man, with the whole down there in Jacksonville, how it didn't work out. It doesn't happen that easy. You just don't make a transition that quick. It doesn't. And there's a lot of idiots who's like, oh, BS. No, it's a whole difference, man. It's a whole difference NFL. So.
All right. Well, and the Tebow situation, you and I were texting about, what we saw on Saturday. Yeah, I will say this: for whatever you think about Tebow, I will say in general, the guy got to follow a dream of coming back and play in the NFL. As you guys talked about, not everyone can do that. He had, he had the luxury of being able to be called upon from his former coach to play again. I'm not gonna knock a guy for trying to play football again. So he tried.
I was rooting for him. Oh, shoot, I love Tebow. I was rooting for him, so, hey, it just didn't quite work out, man. But our 4 that we got up here with Fortson, he's made that transition the way you should.
For sure. Yes. Okay, so our next concern, this one is we actually had a YouTube subscriber actually ask us to talk about this topic. So this past weekend, we saw the refs take taunting penalties to a new level. That was followed up by the NFL Competition Committee Chairman Rich McKay. Quote, after the games this past weekend, quote, the NFL Players Associations, coaches, and competition committee have made a strong statement regarding respect among everyone on the field. We saw an increase in actions that clearly are not within the spirit and intent of this rule and not representative of respect due opponents and others on the field. Game officials have been instructed to strictly enforce the taunting rules, and players and coaches are reminded that 2 taunting penalties committed by an individual player will result in an automatic disqualification. In addition, the taunting player may be fined and or suspended depending on the severity of the actions. Now, a lot of people are upset about this. What are your guys' stance on the enforcement of the taunting policies?
I don't. Okay. One, you're in brute competition against somebody for 3 hours. You're going to talk shit no matter what. Now, it's just a matter of you getting in somebody's face and how you present that argument that I think that the ref is going to look forward to it. I know you had the one where you posted on Twitter about the low cut. We have this box now where DBs can't come in and take out linemen. It's going to suck for the DBs because they're going to, you guys pancaked. But the taunting thing, I'm all for it if it's going to eliminate fighting, because we don't want that in the game. Now, you're going to have trash talk. That's you can't take that from the game. Now, if it's to the point of it's an argument that's about to start a fight, I think the refs can sense that and kind of keep that at a minimum. But if it's just something that I'm in your face, I got a big play and I'm gonna hold the ball in your face, I'm gonna make some sort of a gesture to you, yeah, that's going a bit too far. I'm not even against, I kind of hate the rule of guys getting flagged for taking their helmets off, the Emmitt Smith rule. Like, you know what? I don't think that's really taunting. I mean, you can't showcase who you are. I mean, I know it's not about showcasing who you are, but what's the problem with just taking your helmet off if you're not causing any harm to anybody? I don't think it's showing up anybody. I mean, if you're gonna let them celebrate, do dances now, I don't think taking off the helmet is that bad either. So, I mean, these rules they've been in place for a long time. I guess now it's just they're trying to put more emphasis on certain little things that you do. But my opinion on it is that, they've done a good job over the years. If there's something that they can sense that's going to lead up to a fight, or something that's, can kind of damage the image of the NFL, yeah, you police that and you police it accordingly. But if it's just something that's minimum, a guy gets up and says something, you don't throw a flag for something that small. I mean, it depends on what he says. But again, that's at the ref's discretion. So to how they take it. But yeah, I'm all for, protecting the brand, the image. But when it takes away from the game, and people enjoying the game, then yeah, it hurts at the end. So.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think, to be honest, these guys, the refs have got kind of lax over the years with some of the taunting. Because I know some back in the day, we had taunting rules. It's always been kind of enforced. But some of the things I seen guys, I'm like, man, they wasn't taunting? Like, how you get no penalty on that? Some things I've seen. So to me, I don't have no problem with it. Like he said, man, you could clearly tell when a guy gets another guy's face, or, he's standing over top of him. That shouldn't be taunting. Because the thing is, all it's going to do is ignite the other guy, to react. And so what they're doing is trying to, just alleviate all of that stress of dealing with those things. And the reality is this: the taunting thing is subjective. Okay, they're going to try to impose the rules, but it's the refs are in preseason too. So you're going to see more flags come out now because that's the new rule that's coming up, right? But these guys, they do their film work and they talk these things over just like we do in the football room. So they'll look over the film like, hey, was that really taunting? Was that bad? Maybe not. So let's make sure and look at it like we're not really ticky-tack with some of these calls. And so I think they'll let the guys play, but something that is clearly taunting, like they made one issue, like one dude came after Harbaugh on the sideline. Like the team had to hold him back. Man, that's taunting. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no other way to look at it. So if you're like blatantly just out there, talking or trying to taunt somebody like, yeah, come on out here. Totally different. So guys should be looked at like, yo, man, that's a flag. You can't do things like that. So guys kind of know in their head, but like, turning around and stuff like that, it's cool. Like Cheetah put the deuces up.
With the deuce, yeah.
Yeah, that ain't taunting. To me, that's not taunting. Now, with the safety, when he came back to him in his face, that's taunting. I'll tell you what, the sucker put his fingers up to me, them two broken fingers in my face. Believe that. I'm snatching it. Believe me, I'm snatching it. So I get that part of it, right? Because then I ain't gonna take it. I know he ain't gonna take it, man. The football guy, we ain't gonna certain things you be like, yeah, man, all right, man, with all that noise, whatever. But when guys, kind of go, overboard with it, then you feel like you have to react and respond to certain things, right? Sometimes, right? But the refs had to do their job. But for them to remain consistent, they're going to have to look at and throw the penalties and stuff right now. It's preseason. But they'll get all that, kind of shored up because people are complaining about it. And so they'll back off a little bit on some of the things. But, I mean, to be honest with you, I ain't got no issue with it. I really don't. like I said, when it's blatant, the guy standing over top of somebody, that'll get that joker hurt, man, for real. So, somebody walk their leg up on me, man. Family jewels might be gone for a second. Shoot, let to take that sucker's leg.
Yeah, so, when you start making it personal, there's an issue.
Yeah,
You're basically out there just celebrating, or you're just in the moment and talking.
Right.
That, like I said, that's at the ref's discretion and how they perceive it. So, but I'm all whatever rule they want to, throw out there. Heck, we got to live by it anyway. So,
right. And another thing too, they was talking about like the logo, like a team coming out there standing on somebody's logo and all that, disrespectful, totally disrespectful. It's Tony.
I agree, especially at this level. Like you're professional now.
Right.
I mean, even in college, it's still the same. Like you don't do that at that level either. Like what's the point?
Right.
Go out there and win the game first.
Yeah. So if I'm sitting over like, man, there was 48 out there standing on it. That's him. I let the whole team know. 48 just stood on our logo. Whoever got him right now, you make sure he pays for it.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So yeah, that's Tony, man. That shouldn't be allowed.
So just to get it clear, you guys are both fine with the peace sign going to the end zone. You guys are fine with that.
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
I don't think it's personal. It's one of those. I'm in the end zone, deuces. I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you go up to somebody and you blatantly put that in front of their face, that's personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you could do like how DBs, of course, like the no catch, like no way, no fly zone. As long as you do it to your own sideline or away from the guy, you're good. But if you on the guy, you like, no, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. As long as like, buddy, no, not in here. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily Tommy. So I like to say, man, it's subjective, but they'll get better at it.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of articles came out this week. I think it was a Yahoo article. Someone said one of the reasons for this rule is because of Tyreek Hill and the deuces and the peace sign. And then if you look on the comments of like these articles online, you see all these fans like making fun of Chief fans, like, your guy's the main person behind this, and like so everyone thinks it's coming from Tyreek Hill and the deuces. I don't think that's taunting. He's not like you guys say, he's not doing his face in people's faces. So
yeah.
And I will say it's one thing. He is completely wrong, okay, about the DBs cutting the line. That is wrong. Absolutely. That box, hey, that should not happen. Guys are running out there. You can cut a dude and cut ACL, MCL, all those things can happen to linemen, tight ends. It should not be allowed.
So you saying we shouldn't be able to do it?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Hey, look, go get in the weight room.
What's the percentage?
Get in the weight room. Get in the weight room. That's the problem. The problem is the DBs ain't in the weight room like they should be. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, it's bully ball up there, man. Go hit a dude up underneath the chin.
Hit a dude that's 300 plus, and I'm sitting here at 200.
Go hit right here. Hit chin strap. Catch him right here, though.
I'm 200. And he's 3 plus.
Yeah, get in the weight room, E.
What's the weight room gonna do?
Get stronger. Go hit somebody in their chest. How about that?
And still get me sent to take it out on the stretcher. E, you all right? You're gonna break the little spinning saw. E, you okay?
And obviously, E, you're obviously for the safety, because we're talking about safety for the O lineman, but it's also safety for the cornerbacks too, in a way. I mean, what he kind of said right there, you're talking about a 350-pound guy coming to.
Talk about DBs in general, not just the safety, DBs in general, because if that receiver is going to come, the receiver's supposed to crack. Obviously, they can't crack block anymore, but they're going to, I'll say, wall him off. They're going down. When they go down, that DB's looking, and all of a sudden, you see a big lineman coming towards you. That lineman's got to take you out. Mm-hmm. So what are you supposed to do? Your job is to take him out quick. Go hit him low. You pile up the entire play right there.
Yeah, I said you was one of the most athletic guys I ever seen. Hey, use your athleticism to get around a 350-pound guy. Use an athletic ability.
A cartwheel or something to get around it?
If you need to, yeah, you're athletic enough to do it.
They had a game play, JD, man. Now, I get it, man. Somebody made a comment. I think the dude that I saw that posted on Twitter, he said that he thinks they need to adjust it to where if it's within the 5-yard range and there's not that much speed being taken up, maybe you can hit low. But when you're coming from a distance, you're trying to take him out at that low angle, then it becomes dangerous. And I can agree with that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I can see that. That's fair. Because look, these guys out here, context ain't guaranteed. So if you got an offensive tackle who's about to make $25 million a year, man, you take a joker out, man, there he goes. That's done. Man, that's, career choice. So you got to protect him. Sure.
But in all my years, JD, I don't recall a whole lot of those situations where a guy's getting injured though. Because they see it coming from a mile away, offensive linemen do.
They go low quick. And maybe what they don't do, you'll see a lineman maybe limp off. They don't really talk about it as much. And so, we might not just be, looking for, if you don't really look for something, it doesn't mean it's not there. So I've seen linemen limp off from getting cut like that, man. That's hard. That's tough. When somebody's running at you, you think you're going to hit somebody up, and they just take your leg. Oh, man. It's
tough when receivers do it. We're sitting there supposed to block a receiver, and all of a sudden the receiver's down trying to cut block. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
I get it 100%, but, that's me and another guy that's around my weight class.
Right.
When I got somebody 300 plus coming, that's a whole different situation.
Well, man, shoot, you might get knocked out cutting a dude at big too. Big old ham hock coming. Oh, man, it might knock you out.
No, knockouts don't happen like that. Unless you catch that knee on the helmet, that might be the only way. But yeah, when you're doing those low cuts like that, no.
Yeah, be elusive. Like y'all little guys, be elusive. Get around them. Y'all need to start working that.
That's the worst thing you ever do. You never do that, because when you do that, that running back knows he's gonna see your last. He's gonna be able to tell your movement, and you trying to make that be elusive move and make that right cut.
Yeah. Hey. Why they pay y'all the big bucks?
Yeah, so let us do our job and take the knees out.
Now, I will say it makes a DB's job a lot tougher. The way the game is, it's called for the offense now. You can't breathe on a receiver, you can't breathe on a quarterback. For the D lineman, but as far as the pass interference stuff, and then you got this. I don't know. I feel like it's a safety thing, and I feel like it's leading in the right direction.
It sucks. I saw ESPN today just post a video of Calvin Ridley supposedly roasting the Miami Dolphins DBs. Mm. What's the guy's name that's supposedly ranked number 1 right now?
Xavier Howard.
Yes, so he was one of them. And I'm watching these plays. I had guys send me like the highlights. I'm like, yeah, it all looks good, but you're not gonna get a triple move in a game. No quarterback has that kind of time for you to run that kind of a play. Mm-hmm. And so, granted, Calvin Ridley's good. He proved himself, which would allow Atlanta to let Julio Jones go.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't the product that he is, they wouldn't let him go. But he's a proven guy. But the highlights, they show him doing, a triple move. He comes out, shakes the line, shakes again, runs inside, and shakes and comes back out, and he catches the ball. As a DB, what are you supposed to do? It's one-on-one.
Right.
You're already at a disadvantage. There's no pressure on the quarterback. Where the receiver's running, and he can take all the time he wants to run this route. But in a game, you sit there and try to let him run all those routes. You're going to have whoever that backup quarterback is coming in.
True. Yeah. Those things are ridiculous. When I see things like that, I'm like, come on, man. You ain't got that much time. Mm-hmm. They ain't gonna work like that.
And you see so many kids, especially like the young ones, and they get so hyped when they see, he did him in.
Yeah.
No, that's not at a professional level. That's not even at a collegiate level. Would you see those kind of routes?
Right.
You might see a double move like that 10 times in a football season. Mm-hmm. And so, and it won't be that many moves. You just don't have that kind of time when you're at the NFL. Just the speed of the game is too fast.
Yeah. And those are specialized routes. Like you said, it's going to be a play that's set up and designed to run that exact route to take that time. You know what I mean? And then I'm sure you'll do other things to get them off that move and then come back to him. But that's like you said, it's not going to be that often doing that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, and I remember that, and I remember I had this one coach in high school. Was running backs coach? I remember if you were doing one-on-ones and the cornerback pretty much stopped your route and you try to do try to take up and do a double move, quarterback would say tell the quarterback not to throw the ball because you know the quarterback already stopped you on your route. That's it. You're not gonna do a triple move out of that. So.
Yeah, I laughed at it. I was like, man, dude was like, he was like, man, did you see Calvin Ridley? I was like, why are you sending me this shit? Like, this dude ran 4 different moves. That will never happen in a game. And then you read the comments, and every comment said the same thing I said. That's a sack. That's a sack. Quarterback will never have that much time. I even saw Thurman Thomas even commented on it. It was like, yeah, quarterback will never have that much time to complete that pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the new age, man, with the TikTok videos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People just want to have like a highlight, even though it's not going to count in the real game.
Yep.
All right, so our last concern of the night, this is it's a different year because we have 3 preseason games, not the normal 4. So game 2 is the dress rehearsal game. Tomorrow night's going to be on prime time against the Cardinals on ESPN. So 8 o'clock EST, and you'll get to see the Chiefs Cardinals. Now, what do you guys want to see in this dress rehearsal game? What are the things you're looking for? I know the first game you guys said was kind of a wash. This one, what are you specifically looking for in this dress rehearsal game?
I mean, you'll see more action out of the ones, and especially against a team that's highly talented. Arizona, built up this team. They built up this roster this year, bringing in a lot of big name guys. Now, granted, a lot of these guys are older, so it's kind of like the Lakers going into their season because you bring in an older AJ Green and JJ Watts and heck, I think they got a few other guys that are older, but they're talented though. They're proven guys, and to go along with Hopkins and I can't think of my little guy, the quarterback,
Kyler Murray.
Yes, highly skilled guy and is able to make some phenomenal plays. So. It'll be a good matchup for us and to see where we're at defensively, especially, and on offense because they have a pretty good defense. So for the few plays that they do get, they will be on display, and they know that they will be graded accordingly. So I think you'll see a faster pace. I think you'll see some routine things that go on in the game instead of just going out trying to just go through the motion. Actual trying to convert downs and trying to get in the end zone and work on certain things at a faster pace. So it'll be more exciting and you'll get more plays out of the ones, like I said earlier. But even with the 2s and the 3s, they're gonna have a lot more reps too. Now it's those guys that are walking that tight line. Those are gonna be the ones that probably won't get the snaps. But we probably won't know who they are anyway. Not to say that in a disrespectful way, but yeah, those guys that who probably won't make the team, they won't get the snaps that they were expecting. They'll get them on special teams, but just not within the squad.
Yeah, and you say that, man. If you don't get no reps, man, it's a wrap anyway. Your writing's on the wall.
Yeah,
and I ain't getting in. You ought to be like, well, I might as well. Let me call mom real quick, let her know. Shoot. But I'm looking, man. It's like E said, man. It's going to be a faster pace. I think they play a whole half, and it's going to be. You'll see the zip coming out, off the quarterback's hands. You're going to see it because everybody's trying to get into their rhythm now. And what I'm looking for is really that consistency on that offensive line from that little, nugget we got the first preseason game. Now here's some good competition to see where the guys are actually at. And so, their defense, they're going to come after it because like now your second season, because you don't have a fourth one, you got to get yourself ready. And so, like that third one is like the guys like that's on the bubble, but this second right here, guys are going to come after it. They are going to be coming after it. There's going to be some humming out there. And so I'm looking a little bit more from the secondary, the Chiefs secondary. There's some things just moving around back there. This really interesting. And so I'm going to be watching a little bit more of that game back there And also two linebackers, see what Bolton gets in, starts doing it with the ones, getting in some more, see what he's going to do. Running backs and then wide receivers. I'm going to see what the wide receivers do. Will they try to introduce this multiple tight end set package out here just to see what it looks like? Possibility. Why not? Try it early. See what it looks like. Not put it out there, put it on the shelf, right? Okay, we know what we got. Let's go from there. But first half, man, I'm going to be really tuned in to see offensive line, DBs, wide receivers, and like I said, man, linebackers. So looking forward to it, man. It should be a good matchup. Man, Arizona's they ain't nobody to play with, man. They're a good team.
No, not a slouch at all.
Yeah, they're a good teing. And I know he said, there's some older guys, but these guys were great in their heyday. So can't never count them out. It'd be good to see AJ Green out there. Green, just to see him, because he's just been hurt, man. I'm a fan of his anyway. I like how he plays ball. So I just want to see how he looks, just on the opposite end. But other than that, man, Arizona, they're going to bring their A game out for sure.
It'll be cool. Mahomes will play against his former college coach. I think it's his first time he's played against him in the NFL or against preseason.
Yeah, okay.
That'll be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I don't think it's getting talked about enough. I saw some Chief fans are talking about, but you talk about our secondary. Between Mike Hughes and DeAndre Baker, Baker was targeted 6 times last week, didn't allow a catch. Those are two guys who were former first-round picks who caught the injury bug for the first couple seasons in the league. Well, not Baker. Baker had off the field troubles, but if these guys can catch on and they're first-round talent guys, I mean, those right now are cornerback 3 and 4. When you got Snead and Charvarius Ward, I mean that's a nice secondary. I mean, there's probably a reason why we didn't bring back Rashad Breeland. Now we're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it all, man. And the secondary, I think they did a pretty good job last year. Now, if the front seven isn't putting any pressure on a quarterback to where they can sit in the pocket and pretty much pick you apart, I don't care who you got in the secondary. You're not gonna last. It's just like we were talking about earlier about the double moves or whatever else. If you give a quarterback too much time, no secondary is going to be successful. So it's just a matter of what we do with our front seven. Will entail how much success that we have overall as a defense, but better yet in the secondary. Because I think all of our guys in the secondary are talented. All of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think and having depth in the secondary, obviously having depth anywhere, but specifically being able to go 4 deep with your cornerbacks and having. While Thornhill isn't even starting at safety right now, it's Sorensen and Mathieu, and a lot of people are saying Thornhill doesn't look right, but having him as your 2 free safety, I mean that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
How many did y'all carry on the roster, man? DBs.
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I want to say it had to be maybe 12, 13, maybe 12 or 13 total in the room. Safeties and corners and nickels.
Yeah. It's a good number. Okay.
Is that for your projected 53? Do you have how many DBs do you have?
I have projected. I think I have 12 or now. You know what? I don't think I have that many. I don't know. Hold on. I'll tell you. I'll pull it up right now. Ooh, 11.
11.
Well, I got 11 total. Nickel and everybody.
Is that a small number to you, or is that?
I think that's close to about right. I mean, heck, there's been years, so I couldn't give you the exact number, but that's about the roundabout number. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All them guys, the second guys you ain't on the field, man, you got to do all special teams. Ain't no ifs, ands, buts, maybes about that. You want to be out there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And they had Mike Hughes actually returning kicks last week. So the guys get on the field.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If you a second and third string, you better ask. Put you in everything.
Right.
Heck, even learn how to kick. You might be able to get back and do that.
Right. You say you come out there to practice early and you be with the kickers, just catch a ball. Yeah.
Let me kick, coach.
Right. What JD doing back there catching punts? What's he doing?
You need a job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that does it for us, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Chief Concerns, presented by Bet Online. Next week, we actually have some special guests coming on. We have the group from Chiefs Focus coming on to talk shop with you guys as we get into the final week of preseason and as we look towards the regular season. So excited to have the Chiefs Focus guys coming on to join us. As always, if anyone in Chiefs Kingdom has any concerns for these two guys, please tweet at us at @ConcernsChief or email us at chiefconcerns@yahoo.com. Gentlemen, see you next week.
Good night, guys. Have a good one.
All right, my man.